Sunday, a day of rest for many, but as a landscape photographer, it's sometimes the only day when you can get out to watch and shoot the sunrise. And that's exactly what I'm doing this morning at the famous Bow Fiddle Rock in Portknockie. It's been very mild this week, so I was very surprised when I got up this morning and I had to scrape my car very quietly at 5:30 in the morning in my new estate to try not to annoy my neighbours. As I just said, I've come down to Bow Fiddle Rock this morning, and what I wanted to do today was to try and get a more unique image of this location. It is very, very iconic. Photographers from all over the world come to this location to shoot it at sunrise, at night time when the northern lights are out. It's not hard to see why. It is beautiful. And unfortunately I got here a little bit later this morning than I'd intended to. I thought I was going to get here a bit earlier than I did, but due to the frost and everything I got a little bit more held up. So when I arrived here, there's already two photographers down in the bay where most people shoot the Bow Fiddle Rock. So what I've done is I've come up onto the hill and I'm trying to get a more unique angle and a more unique composition of this rock, which has been photographed millions and millions of times, so it's very difficult to get that unique image, but I'm going to try that this morning and just see what I capture. But it's so beautiful here, there's so many seabirds going around, spring is definitely on the way, and just being up early on a Sunday when most people are still in bed, it's such a joy and such a privilege to be able to enjoy this right now. I've actually been here many times over the years, but what inspired me to come here today was that I saw a recent video by Brandon Van Son, and obviously he's Canadian and he came all the way over to Scotland to do this project, and he was able to come and shoot this Bow Fiddle Rock, and I just thought if he can come halfway across the world to shoot this, why can't I come and do it, given it's just an hour down the road from where I live. It's such a beautiful location that I have shot at a few times before I started YouTube, and I've been meaning to come back here ever since, and unfortunately it's just not happened until this morning. I think what I really need to do is come here in the summer months. It's stupid o'clock in the morning when there's not going to be any other photographers around, so that I can have this place to myself, and during the week rather than at the weekend when it's likely to be busy. But it's still beautiful to be here this morning, and what I realised the other week was I was online, and the Murray Speyside Tourism Group, who obviously promote this beautiful area, they posted a photo online of a sea arch just down from Bow Fiddle Rock. I'm not sure which direction it's in, but it's really inspired me to come back here again, hopefully in the coming months, to do more exploring here, to do the coastal trail and to show you how beautiful this coastline is. Because again, it's a part of Scotland which, people come to shoot the iconic Bow Fiddle Rock, but they often don't stay and they don't travel, further afield, or they don't do the whole coastal walk. And I'd like to encourage people to do that. If you ever come to an iconic location, rather than just shooting that iconic picture, that iconic scene, actually exploring around that iconic area and just to see what else is around there, because there's some pretty epic sea stacks here which aren't as famous or aren't as unusual as the Bow Fiddle Rock, but just as exciting to discover and so much less photographed, which means you can get more unique images. The sound of the seabirds this morning is insane. That's what I'm really taking from this morning. It's not the photography, it's not the Bow Fiddle Rock, it's the beautiful seabirds. But I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for landscape photography. And what a privilege. And we've got the moon up there, you probably can't see it. We've got some beautiful pink hues over here, unfortunately in the wrong direction. And then we've got the lovely seabirds on this rock here, making such a racket. It's a great way to start a Sunday morning. So the sun has now risen and we've got this beautiful orange light cast onto the Bow Fiddle Rock. I've got to say, this is more beautiful than the pre-sunrise light, I think, but given that I missed most of it, I'm going to say that. But what a beautiful morning, and the light just now is insane. It's so beautiful. So do you ever feel when you're out shooting that things are not going to plan, that either the conditions aren't what you expected them to be, the weather's not what you expected them to be, there's more people in a location than you were hoping, which makes your chances of getting the image that you were dreaming of more difficult? Or do you ever find that you get somewhere that you've dreamt of shooting for a long time and you're just not in the mood? The reason why I'm saying this is because this video that you're currently watching on, and the part that you've just watched, it wasn't my normal enthusiastic longish video full of information and full of me speaking to the camera and showing off a stunning location. I feel like it was very, not all over the place, it had a story and it went in order, but it was very sort of segmented. And the reason for that is because, you know, like everybody that does photography or vlogging, sometimes you get to a location and things just don't go to plan, as I've just said. And that morning for me, I felt like everything was out to get me. By the time I got to the location, I was really tired. The fact that there was quite a few other photographers there, that wouldn't normally bother me, but because I was quite tired that morning and I wasn't really, my head wasn't really in it, that really put me off, and I really struggled to vlog and be myself that morning, just because there was a lot more people around than I was expecting. And I just felt like the conditions in front of me were so perfect, and when I was driving into Portknockie, the sunrise light, the pre-dawn light was exceptional, and I had missed what I thought was the best light. And all these things combined made me feel really down, if I'm honest, and frustrated. And you know, my videos are normally enthusiastic and inspiring, and I do hope that this video still feels, you know, has a sense of that. But I wanted to express the fact that, like everybody who is a creative person, who vlogs, who does photography, I have off days as well. You know, we're all human at the end of the day, and I feel like I didn't do that location justice. But I've just sat down today, it's now 4 days since I shot that video, and I've just edited the photographs and the video that you've just seen, and I was really pleasantly surprised with how the photographs turned out. Because my mind wasn't in it that morning, and because I felt like the world was out to get me, you know, we all have days like that, I felt like the images that I took that day were rubbish. I wasn't happy with them at all. And to sit down 4 days later and look through them and to be really pleasantly surprised by how some of them have turned out, I am so happy, because I didn't think I had gained much from that morning, but what I have gained is this sense that even if your mind's not in it, and even if you're struggling with your creativity or your compositions, if you just get your camera out and try, you never know what images you're going to come home with. And over half of the images I took were rubbish. They were overexposed. I didn't use correct filters, but that's because my mind wasn't really in it that morning, and I just didn't feel like I could concentrate on the photography 100%. But within those images, as you've just seen, there was 4 that I really liked, which I was, like I say, pleasantly surprised with and blown away with. And the message I want to leave this video on is the fact that You can turn a negative into a positive, but the only way that you can really do that in life is if you get out and try. You've got to try. You know, it's fine to take a day out. It's fine to say one morning, you know, you want to go and shoot a sunrise, but you're not quite in it. But that morning what I realised was I was passing Bow Fiddle Rock anyway, even though I wasn't feeling that into it and everything was sort of going wrong. I thought, I'm passing anyway, I might as well just go in, try and shoot a video, try and get some photographs. And I was so in awe with how things turned out in the end. And I just want you all to invest that into your own work and into your own life. Just getting out there and attempting something, it may not feel like things are going to plan on the day and you may not feel 100% happy with how things went, but when you reflect on it a couple of days down the line, what you've created as a creative person or what you've learnt from that experience can sometimes be so much more worthwhile and rewarding than how the experience went in the moment. And that's what I've learnt today. The only way to progress in life, to learn and to improve your creativity is just to get out there and do it. To challenge your mind, to challenge your emotions, to push yourself, and then you will succeed. And the more that we learn in life and the more that we do this, the more likely we are, I guess, to feel fulfilled and to evolve better as a person. I don't know if any of that made any sense, but as I'm sure many of you have realised by now, I quite like philosophy and speaking about the meaning of life and nature and how things are connected, and I feel like filming this video and having this positive image creation a few days later has just inspired me to get out there and to do it more and to challenge these days. We all have negative days, we all have down days, but just to challenge them and to push ourselves to get out and try and make a positive out of a negative. And I hope you'll instill that into your own lives and your own photographic or creative journeys. As always, I want to say a huge thank you for watching. Next Sunday I've got a really exciting video where I go to photograph some short-eared owls on the Aberdeenshire coast. Many of you last year enjoyed my wildlife inspired videos, so for all you wildlife photography enthusiasts or coastal enthusiasts, anybody that likes the outdoors really, but especially wildlife, you're in for a treat next Sunday. I'm really excited to share the video with you and I'll hopefully see you all then.